Deep within the dense rainforests of Southeast Asia, there lives a creature so small, so elusive, that many have never even heard of its existence. Imagine a deer no bigger than a rabbit, shy, graceful, and surprisingly ancient. But today, the world is starting to pay attention, not just for its cuteness, but for the powerful economic and ecological story this tiny animal holds. Could this little-known animal be the future of niche farming and sustainable cuisine? Or is it destined to remain a hidden treasure, lost in the shadows of disappearing forests? Have you ever heard of the mouse deer before? Type yes or no in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. A deer so tiny it's been around for 30 million years. How's that for a survivor? Scientifically known as Troglodyte, the mouse deer is a group of small, shy, and fascinating ungulates that look like something out of a fairy tale. Despite their nickname, they are neither true deer nor rodents. They belong to one of the most primitive groups of hoofed mammals, tracing back over 30 million years, long before modern deer even appeared. Today, they roam the dense forests of Southeast Asia and parts of Africa, favoring thick vegetation and areas close to water sources. Standing just 10 to 18 inches tall and weighing around 4 to 16 pounds, the mouse deer is the epitome of small but mighty. Their delicate legs and spotted coats offer perfect camouflage against the dappled forest floor. When threatened, they can freeze perfectly still or dash away at incredible speed, making them almost ghost-like to human eyes. And perhaps the most fascinating detail, some species of male mouse deer possess tiny fang-like tusks. They're used not for hunting, but for territorial battles. Mouse deer are nocturnal and crepuscular, meaning they are most active at night and during twilight hours. They're solitary creatures, fiercely territorial, and communicate mainly through scent markings, rather than sound. Imagine surviving in a dense, predator-filled forest without sharp claws or powerful jaws, just speed, camouflage, and a battle of scents. Would you survive? Share your thoughts in the comments. But the mouse deer is more than just an adorable relic of ancient times. Its role in the forest ecosystem is surprisingly vital, and its survival story carries powerful lessons for all of us. For centuries, the mouse deer remained hidden in the shadows of the world's rainforests, until now. In recent years, the world has begun to take notice, not just of the mouse deer's rarity, but of its surprising economic and culinary value. Mouse deer meat is considered a delicacy in parts of Asia, fetching up to $231 per pound. With its lean, tender texture and rich flavor, it has drawn comparisons to premium venison and Wagyu beef. High-end restaurants now see it as an exclusive, sustainable alternative to traditional game meat. If you had the chance to try this ultra-rare dish, would you? But beyond fine dining, some entrepreneurs are eyeing mouse deer farming as the next big thing in niche agriculture. The demand for mouse deer meat and breeding stock is rising. While still a niche market, experts believe that ethical farming could provide a sustainable solution to meet this growing interest. With careful regulation and responsible farming, this could become a multi-million-dollar industry. But while farming mouse deer could be a lucrative venture, there's another pressing reason why the world is paying attention. Their survival in the wild is under serious threat. While the world's attention begins to turn toward the mouse deer, their fragile homes tell a far more complicated story. Deforestation, urban expansion, and illegal hunting continue to shrink the safe spaces where these tiny marvels can live and thrive. Without immediate intervention, conservationists warn that mouse deer populations could face irreversible decline. In Vietnam alone, some subspecies are already classified as critically endangered. 80% habitat loss in the last 50 years. Estimated fewer than 250 mature individuals left in certain regions. Thankfully, a global coalition of conservationists, governments, and local communities is rising to the challenge. From protected nature reserves to carefully managed breeding programs, Innovative strategies are being put into action to create sanctuaries where mouse deer can once again roam freely. In Vietnam's Quang Trong Forest, a groundbreaking conservation effort led to the stunning rediscovery of the silver-backed mouse deer, after it was presumed extinct for nearly 30 years. Today, this lush forest has become a model of what's possible when people come together to protect even the most overlooked creatures. Imagine a world where future generations never get to see this living jewel of the forests. Should protecting small, lesser-known species be just as important as saving the more famous ones? Despite their minuscule size, mouse deer have appetites that play a surprisingly big role in the ecosystems they inhabit. Mouse deer are primarily herbivores, feeding on a diverse diet of leaves, fruits, shoots, and sometimes even fungi. Their selective feeding helps control plant growth and contributes to the natural recycling of nutrients in the forest floor. In tropical ecosystems, even the smallest creatures serve vital purposes. By foraging and dispersing seeds, mouse deer quietly shape the very landscapes they call home. However, habitat destruction doesn't just rob mouse deer of their homes, it disrupts their intricate food networks. Changes in vegetation patterns mean less access to their preferred foods, pushing these tiny deer to venture into riskier territories. If a creature as small as a mouse deer can influence the health of an entire forest, what might we be risking if we let such keystone species quietly disappear? Understanding how mouse deer live and feed brings us closer to appreciating why protecting them and their world matters more than ever. In nature, survival is a delicately balanced act. For mouse deer, their health and wellness are intertwined with the health of their environment. When one suffers, the other follows. Mouse deer, despite their small size, are incredibly resilient. Their survival depends on a balanced diet, protection from predators, and a healthy ecosystem that supports their lifestyle. They rely heavily on their senses, keen eyesight and sharp hearing, to navigate through dense forests and avoid dangers. Their diverse diet of plants, fruits, and fungi helps them adapt to seasonal changes and environmental stress, providing the nutrients needed to thrive. However, habitat loss, climate change, and deforestation threaten their health, increasing stress and weakening their ability to fend off diseases and predators. The health of these tiny creatures is directly tied to the state of their environment. Could our own health be affected by environmental changes in similar ways? In the animal kingdom, reproduction is nothing short of magical. For the mouse deer, the journey from conception to birth is a delicate process that ensures their survival. Mouse deer mate during the rainy season when food is abundant, with males using persistent calls to attract females. After a 7-month pregnancy, females give birth to tiny fawns that can stand and walk shortly after birth, a remarkable survival trait. The mother protects her young from predators, ensuring they receive the nourishment needed to grow. Environmental disturbances can disrupt this fragile cycle, making habitat protection during breeding season critical. Mouse deer are selective eaters, choosing nutrient-rich leaves, fruits, and fungi that help them adapt to seasonal changes. Their diet not only ensures their survival, but also shapes their ecosystem by controlling plant growth and maintaining biodiversity. In lush forests, their small size allows them to access hidden food sources, feasting on berries and tender leaves during the wet season, and hardier plants in tougher times. Protecting their habitats ensures the delicate balance of nature, preserving food sources for wildlife and humans alike. Conservationists are working to restore habitats and enforce anti-poaching laws, giving mouse deer a chance to live healthy lives. By supporting these initiatives, we help ensure the survival of mouse deer and the ecosystems they depend on. With 80% of their habitat gone, can we save the mouse deer before it's too late? The mouse deer faces an uncertain future due to habitat destruction, illegal hunting, and human expansion. Forests are cleared for agriculture and urban development, leaving fewer safe spaces for these tiny deer, with some subspecies critically endangered. Conservationists, governments, and communities are creating protected reserves and wildlife corridors to give mouse deer room to thrive. The rediscovery of the silver-backed mouse deer in Vietnam's Quang Trong forest shows what's possible with global collaboration. By supporting conservation and making sustainable choices, we protect mouse deer and the ecosystems we all depend on. The mouse deer's story is one of survival, hope, and the urgent need for conservation in a changing world. Though small, these creatures remind us of the fragility and interconnectedness of life, with their survival tied to the health of their forests. By supporting conservation initiatives, advocating for wildlife protection, and living sustainably, we can ensure mouse deer thrive for future generations. What kind of planet do you want to leave behind? Share your vision in the comments. Protecting the mouse deer means safeguarding entire ecosystems, a mission that starts with the choices we make today.